We are joined now by the most decorated female skier of all time, a three-time Olympic medalist, holder of 4 overall World Cup titles and 82 World Cup victories. Lindsey Vonn has just come out with a new book, Rise, My Story. She opens up about her early dreams to compete in the Olympics, overcoming serious injuries that could have ended her career, to her struggles with depression and anxiety. Lindsey, thank you so much. Good to have a fellow Lindsey on the show. Appreciate you talking to us tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So you write in your book that from the time that you were a young skier, you were inspired by your mother, that she fought through severe health issues, and whenever you experienced a setback, you always felt a responsibility to her to pull yourself up, get better, and do it all without complaining. How did that spirit resonate then, and how does it continue to resonate now?
I mean, I just had a different level of perspective. You know, my mother almost died giving birth to me. She had a stroke and was in a coma for several months after my birth. And I just always, thought about that whenever I was on the mountain, or, my friends were going to parties and things like that. I always remembered that, my family's giving up so much for me to be here. My mom wishes she could, ski with me and do all of those athletic things with me, but she couldn't. And so again, that perspective, I think, really kept me on track. It kept me very focused on my goal of making the Olympic team. And again, when I was injured, my mom didn't have the luxury of being able to come back from her stroke, but I had the ability through hard work to come back from my injury. So I always kept that in perspective.
Kept fighting back in kind of her honor, it sounds like. And by the time you were a teenager, you were a top American skier and competing to make the 2002 Olympic team. But one night you overheard your coaches say that Lindsey's not going to make it and that they should focus on training someone else who had a better chance of making the games. Describe for us that moment and the effect that it had on you.
I was pretty crushed, as a teenager, especially you're very insecure. And I was, obviously doing everything I could to make the Olympic team. And you always want your coaches to believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. And at that moment, I realized that they really didn't. And the only one that was going to get me to the top was myself, and I think that was a really important moment for me in my life. It obviously hurt deeply, but it was something that stuck with me and kept motivating me throughout the next several years.
And you write that even though you did make those games, the 2002 Olympic team, that after the games you fell into this dark hole of despair. Eventually you were diagnosed with depression and ultimately did get treatment. But you say that it was never far away during your career. Was it cathartic, though, to write about all of that and share that along with your mental health struggles?
Yeah, it definitely was cathartic to write this book. I mean, it was also just generally a nice time to reflect on my career as a whole, everything that I've been through, mainly physically, but also through mental health and, giving my family credit for all of their sacrifices. It was really a nice time for me to reflect. And I think retirement was actually one of the hardest times for me mentally because, I relied so heavily on skiing as an outlet. And when skiing was gone, it was very difficult to find my way. But eventually I did. And I have a lot of people to credit for supporting me through that. And I'm in a great place now, so couldn't be happier.
And we are so glad to hear that. Now, after you won your gold medal in the 2010 Vancouver Olympics, you were then thrust into the spotlight, became a household name. How did you then navigate being an Olympic athlete and also then being judged by these concepts of beauty created by Hollywood?
It was really interesting because I'd always kind of been in my skiing bubble and I'd never really judged myself from a, physical appearance perspective. But after I won the Olympics, I started to be invited to red carpet events and movie premieres and things like that. And it was a whole nother level of recognition that I had never experienced and honestly didn't know how to handle. And when you're standing on the red carpet next to, incredibly beautiful human beings like Jennifer Aniston, it's very difficult to not judge yourself. And I didn't fit in. I didn't feel that, I should be there. And it took a toll of my self-confidence for a long time.
And that's fascinating, really, because there's so many people saying, I wish that I were beautiful like Lindsey Vonn. And so for you to say that you didn't feel that you were measuring up, I think all of us suffer a bit to varying degrees in that way. In the book, you also say that your friends joke that you're the most confident, unconfident person they know, and that you can be confident when you're playing the character of Lindsey Vonn. What's the difference between Lindsey Vonn, the character, and Lindsey Vonn that your friends and family know and love?
Well, I mean, I feel like when I'm the character, I'm so fierce and, nothing can stop me. And, I feel like a, badass. But when I'm, at home on the couch and I'm vulnerable, I'm just, I don't know, I'm much different. I'm just very relaxed and I am penetrable. I'm pretty insecure. I feel like I'm obviously in a great place now, but it took me a while to get there. I'm very bad at judging myself and comparing myself to others. And I was very confident on the slopes because I knew what I could do, but off the slopes, it was not quite the same.
And lastly, of course, you retired from competitive skiing back in 2019 at 34 years old. You just shared with us just now and also wrote about how that was the hardest thing that you've ever done, even harder than overcoming your injuries. Is it still hard for you? I know you said that you're in a great place, but now with the Winter Olympics less than a month to go in Beijing, to be on the sidelines, how do you react to that?
I'm definitely jealous that I'm not racing. Of course, I always want to be racing. I wish I was out there with my team, but I think, after a few years of, accepting where I am and the fact that I'm retired, I'm really just excited to watch my teammates. I'm excited to watch the women that I've mentored over the last several years on the U.S. team and also other nations. So I honestly am very excited to watch them and just cheer for them in these games.
And just one more, because you are still so young but retired. What's next? What can we expect in the future chapters from Lindsey Vonn?
The future is so exciting. I've just really hunkered down into business. I'm in venture capital now. I'm advising several funds and I'm investing, and I'm, of course, still aligned with all of my sponsors for my skiing career. So there's a lot to look forward to. I have a lot to learn, but it's an exciting new challenge.
Sounds good. Lindsey Vonn, our thanks to you. And you can purchase Rise, My Story, wherever books are sold.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.